What's up, guys, and welcome to another video here on Abster TCG. So I recently been invited to play in a league of webcam tournament, you could say, where there's like a table and you play one game every week, a best of 3, and you get points depending on how many, like if you won or not, and then you get like game difference depending if you went 2-0 or 2-1. So this is the first game from game 1. I am going to do a video of every week I play, and I will talk a little bit about the plays and like review the games when I look at them. And also shout out to Sabaody Showdown. I think this is a really cool thing. There's a lot of good players in my division, like Relso, Herboye, Krulsor, and some other guys. So this is the deck list for round 1. I was of course playing the Vegapunk, the GOAT himself, and I was playing against the red and green Smoker. So these are the lists. I have to mute it there. But I will put both like their Twitch and the YouTube in the description down below. So let's get into the games. I'm gonna put my cam down here so you can still be with me. So to begin with, I went first. I think in general red and green Smoker is a good matchup for Vegapunk, or like it's favored at least. Kid, Beckman, and Hody they are a little bit cringe of cards to do, but I feel like compared to Bonnie for Vegapunk, you can put a lot more pressure into Smoker, and you have the Luffy and the Nami that trades favorably into this deck. So I'm going to start. I lost the die roll, and the interesting thing, I would probably prefer to go second, but if we look at OP Bounty, for some reason Vegapunk has like a 54% win rate going first and 49% win rate going second against Smoker. As for the latest one I looked, I think it should be slightly favored both ways, but that's just interesting. But I would probably pick second because I wanted to hit the good curve. But that means that they can curve Beckman or Hody, which actually are a little bit annoying. So yeah, let's go into the games. So I'm going to start there. I remember my hand was not the best, so I had to play out a Shaka here. Like, Shaka is probably the second best body you can play off turn 1, except Atlas, because you don't really want to play Pythagoras, because you want to have setup in trash before you play it, because if he kills it early, like the first body might go earlier if he like full dons up and swings on it. So then Pythagoras just won't do anything, so it's just better to have it in hand for later, in my opinion. So I'm going to start with the Shaka here and passing, and my opponent is going to stand his don, playing a Virgo to search. We will see. And also, guys, would you like me to do like this, where I review the game and talk about it, or do you want me to just upload the VOD so you can hear me talk with my opponent? And I have to give a big shout out to Moss here. Really nice guy. We had a lot of fun when we were playing, because like the stakes are honored in this, of course, and I think they will do a little bit of price support with sponsors and things, but this is a really fun thing, and playing against good players is always nice to get some testing. So he's going to play the Virgo. I don't remember what he picked, but he picked a card, I'm certain of. And then he passed to me. So I'm going to think. I'm going to swing a 7 with Shaka. So in general, in this matchup, I want to burn as much resources as possible from the opponent's hand, because that means once Kid gets on the board, there's probably less cards in hand. So instead of swinging the 7k swings, I rather swing the 6k swings if I'm not in a position where I have to push, because that means that it's more likely that I get 2k, so once Kid hit the board, he might be at like 1 or 2 life, and I can kill it a lot more easy, because if the Kid stays, it becomes a trouble for Vegapunk. So here I top deck the Atlas, and just play it. And then I am going to pass. So here I also leave 1 don up. The reason why it's better to like go a 7 instead of a 8 and leave 1 don up, even if you have event or not, is that you bluff the event. That means that your opponent might be encouraged not to like don up and swing on the Shaka, because it might be protected, and then my opponent will lose tempo here. So I really like to leave dons open, and I rather like, if I go a 7k, I'm happy if he throws 2 cards instead of like taking the damage. So that's for like, oh, gets him up, and he's going to play the Sanji, put a don under it, and then give 2 don to his leader, and then swing a 7 on Shaka. And I'm going to protect it with a 2k, because I feel like this is a matchup where I really want to keep my board and keep the pressure going, because I am on a, drop that card there, I am a little bit on a clock because of the Kid, so I want to be in as like I want him to start throwing the cards as early as possible. So in this position, I can recognize, okay, maybe I need to go a little bit harder on life, because that means that like I can get cards from hand before the kid hits the board, because it's more favorable for me to swing into a 5k leader than swing into 8-cost kid. And with my Vegapunk list, I don't play, for example, the 8-cost Katakuri, and like we don't have Raigo anymore, so there's no efficient, clean way to get rid of the kid except swinging into it. And for example, with the 2-cost event Smoker plays, it can be hard to get it sometimes. So I am going to start with a 7 with Atlas here. I think like super min-maxing, there's an argument to swing with Shaka, because now he can't hit Molgan, I guess. Well, never mind, it's better to swing with Atlas here, because if he hits Molgan and chooses to use it, then I have my Shaka standing instead of the Atlas here. So in this position now, when he took the 7k, I just want to push down the life as fast as possible, so I started to burn card for real. There's some arguments here actually to swing a 7k to try to get 2 cards instead, because all I care about is the resources, because I know Kid probably will come down, so I want to be in as of a good position as possible into Kid. So here I just asked him if he wanted to trigger anything, because double check, and so I do leader to play Nami, pitch the Rayquaza, and pop the Sanji to draw a card, because I have 2 cards in hand. So I feel like this position is not the best for me to be into, because I'm running a little bit low on gas, but the save and grace is that my opponent here is at 6 Don next turn, so it can't be Kid, and I still have like a full board. So if I just manage to kinda protect it and then keep pushing next turn, then I'm actually going to be able to get cards from hand, which is really nice. At least I'd say like 4 cards if I swing 7Ks, but it depends what my opponent will do this turn. So my opponent is thinking here. Oh, we have maybe a timer there. Side. And quite remember, I think, yeah, there's coming out a burger here. I like to see this because that means less Don to use, but I guess this leader stands like 3 Don if you're a smoker, so playing the burgers are good, and then you can like look for the cards you need. For example, if you need Monet, you can find Monet. If you need Blocker, you can get Blocker. Because I think Monet here would be in a good spot, like Monet and another Sanji looks really good. We could even Sanji put a Don under it, stand 2, 3 Monet. Yeah, so there's a lot of options here for my opponent. So I feel kinda well, but at the same time I feel like I have to close this game out sooner than later. My opponent is going to grab the Smoker here, which is a good hit, because Smoker is actually terrifying for Vegapunk because it has Banish. So you kind of have to defend the hits, because it's so easy. Like, he can go a Holdie, he has Smoker up, he just kills me. So it's going to stand 1 Don with leader, 2 Don with leader, and then use Smoker to stand a Don. So he has 3 Dons to use here. So can be event you want to keep up, he can make a swing on my board. We'll see. I think here keeping the event up is probably good, because if I have 2 bodies on board, I can still push a lot of cards in hand. And I think I asked my opponent, and he had like 8 cards in hand here. So I'm a little bit scared of the Kid coming out next turn. But if he plays Kid next turn, that means that like there's not additional pressure, which means that I can like take it good. So he's going to swing a 6 here on the Shaka. I am going to defend with a 1k, because I really want to protect the board and keep the pressure up. Because if I leave, if I don't do this, then it's much easier for my opponent to like survive the pressure, etc. So I think my opponent here is going to pass with 2 Don up, which like tells me that there's probably either like Rad Beams in hand or the Snow Globe event, like the +3 -2k event, which is really good for the Smoker deck. So I stand, and I have 7 Don to use this turn, which is now I get to like the good number for Vegapunk, because I feel like 5 Don is so awkward, because you only have like the Rishi and Lilith to play on that. So I'm going to start with a 6. As I said before, now I just want to get cards out of the hand of my opponent, because I rather him pitch the cards in hand than having a Kid with 0 life. So I'm going to go a 6 here. This is actually a misplay here, because if he decides to use the event here, he can use minus plus the leader and then minus the Nami, which means that I have to invest 2 Don to swing with the Nami, which I'm probably not gonna do because I know it is and I want to play a Sanji and do another drop and then leave one Don up to bluff event. But what I should have done, I should have swung with a 6 with Nami before, because that means that he is going to decrease my Shaka. And if he decreases Shaka, I'm not going to swing with it. And that means that I'm going to have a blocker up for next turn instead of just having a standing Nami. So I should have swung a 6 with the Nami before I did with Shaka. But getting the event here is also really nice, because that means that I'm not going to have to deal with it, hopefully, when the kid may come down next turn. Yeah, so my opponent is thinking a little bit here and is going to play the snow globe event to minus pump the leader and minus the Nami, so I can't swing with it. So here I realize, okay, I should have swung with a 6 with Nami before, because I could have left Shaka standing then. So that was my board from my point. I'm going to go 5 for Sanji. I think Sanji is a crazy card for this deck. It's like, because with this deck, you always want to play a 5-drop and do leader. So like you want to use your 6 down for 2 bodies or a body and a heal. And I feel like out of every 5-drop you can play, I think Sanji is the best 5-drop to play. Because it's like a 5-6 blocker, so it's a great stat line. It just replaces itself, you draw to discard 1, you can like discard a card you maybe bricking on. So I think that's why I play 4 in Sanji, because it's like the best body to play. So I see it kind of like an egged card that you can't cheat out, but you're going to use your 5 down for it. Then I'm going to play the Luffy here and pass. I want the Luffy here now, because that means if he's going to play the kid and play out the blocker, I can just pop it with Luffy, and then I get 1 down up extra for next turn. Or if it's just a kid, then I can like use the Luffy to swing maybe instead. So my opponent is going to stand everything, and I'm taking a sip from the good old Cola Zero. Yeah, so and fast forward a little bit to next play. So he's going to swing a 7 with the smoker here. I think it's going on the Atlas or Shaka. And in my hand now, I think I have the 8-cost kid and a Dereshi, I think. So both are bricks. So I was a little bit... Oh, never mind. I have Edison in hand. Edison and the 8-cost kid, I think I had. So I was a little bit scared about like Hody, Banish and swinging, but it is risky to do into a Vegapunk, because if he does Hody and then I can defend the smoker hit, like I have a 2k 1k or a 2k 2k depending if he's swinging 8 or 9, then I can just like defend the, like then I can take the other hits and just lose the game from this spot. So I think just playing the kid is good there, because we have a lot of cards in hand, and we have like a Rosenante setup. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit here. My opponent is thinking, and going to swing a 7 on the Shaka too. I let it go, and then going to play the Rosie. So I'm going to draw here, go up to 9 down. I actually do a slight misplay this turn too, which I realized later that I should not have done. So I'm going at 8 with Luffy here, because I wanted to see if I can get a counter and then pop the Rose instead. But there's no reason for my opponent here to counter and leave the Rose up, because I just pop it with the Luffy. Maybe the only argument is that, okay, you might feel like, okay, then I get rid of the Luffy, like for good to counter, because I'm going to use it. But I think I should have just like popped the Luffy and I used the Dom to swing higher with other things. So this is a misplay I realized from my part at the end of this, because I felt like, I want to swing with it and then pop it, but yeah, because now I don't have a good target for it. And also in a position like this, I don't think my opponent is going to swing face. Like he just want to clear the board and stabilize as much as possible, so I am going to pop the Luffy either way. So I think I realized that later, because now I felt like, okay, I can keep the Luffy, but then I am going to pop it either way. So I should just have like popped the Rose draw 1, and then I had 2 more down to swing. Because now I put myself in a really difficult spot here, because I have to consider how I'm going to swing, because I don't know how many cards are in the opponent's hand. So yeah, I am going to swing I think this is it's a 12 on the kid. So here I'm demanding at least 3 cards from my opponent, which is really nice. So now I'm starting to feel a little bit like, okay, wait, this game might be tougher than I think, as my headset is starting to lose battery, so I have to plug the charger here. So yeah, this swing could have been like a little bit higher with the Luffy. So my opponent is going to think, and he's going to throw a Sanji and 3 1Ks. And from this spot, like, I really like his position. And he didn't have like the 2 keys in hand because I swung 6 Ks before that baited out the Otama, for example. So if instead I was swinging a 7K and he would take this life, then he would have another 2 key in hand and much more cleanly counter this. So this life is like not doing that much. That's the reason why, like, into decks like this, you want to strategize more for the hand burn than, and like developing board, than just going face. And then I am going to go 1 don for the S snake on the smoker, so it's not going to be able to swing for next turn. S snake coming up real good there for me. Also in this game, I have not seen any of my 5-cost scientist punks yet, so like that, Nami, there was a lot of cards for me to have here in hand that actually could help me in this position. So I am going to pass it to my opponent. I'm feeling a little bit scared because I have 2 cards in hand and both are bricked. I think now it's the Reshi and 8-cost kid in my hand, so if my opponent decides to slap down a Hody and then swing like a 7, a 8 and or like 9 and a 12, then I actually lose the game if I don't manage to find a blocker. And my opponent told me before that he has not played that much into Vegapunk yet, and that's like a big benefit for me, because Vegapunk is a deck that's a little bit more hard to play into if you have not done it before. Maybe like you know about he should not swing into my face, but except that he hadn't like that much experience into it, which was in my favor. So he's going to start with the 2-cost event here, looking for some cards. And here, as I said, I'm still scared about Hody because I don't have the counter in hand. But yeah, so my opponent is going to look and is going to take a carrot. So I know the info that a carrot in hand, and I'm kind of happy when I see carrot because I think that it will get slammed down on the board. But now it's going to go 9 on face, and I'm like, oh shit, wait, this might actually be really scary here. And I think he did that because he wanted to see like how I reacted to the 9k hit. And at this point, I'm thinking like, okay, so there's probably not the hold in hand because he decided to swing, and I could have choose to block with the Sanji. That's why I actually did not take the Sanji block, which I should have done actually, because now I clearly, like, I know from my position that I like the Hody, but I have 3 cards in hand and I have 1 life, so it's still a little bit scary for my opponent to actually swing into me. My opponent is going to play the Hody here and is going to rest the Sanji, and I think the S snake here. Okay, yeah. So here I'm thinking like, okay, so he can only swing 8-8, or like he could swing like a 7-9 now if he wants to, but I think that's a little bit risky because I have 3 cards in hand and I could also hit a trigger. He's going to start with 8 face, and I'm like, I have a 1-2k because I got the Edison from trigger, which I didn't decide to use because I rather wanted the 2k than gambling to find like 3k from the draws. So here I am going to think a little bit because I want my opponent to like think that I can counter. So I'm sitting there and like thinking, okay, should I counter this? I'm like, okay, I think I verbalized like, okay, so you can stand 3 down. Okay, I take this because I wanted to work with the mind games. So I'm going to hit the Lilith here and look at the top 5. And I like the deck. I play 7 2Ks in the deck. I've seen 3 of them, so there's some odds for me to find one here. So I am actually going to find the Frankie here, which means that I am fully protected from the next turn here. So now my opponent is going to stand 3 down with leader effect. And then he is going to swing a5 onto leader, and I'm going to block with the Frankie. So the reason my opponent did this was because he probably has the 2-cost event in hand, so he rather like play it safe and leave it up, and it's actually kind of annoying for me to swing here into him, because 3 don't open, that could also mean a radical beam, so I'm like sitting there, and because I know a lot of the list doesn't play rad beam. They play like the ice globe event and maybe like 1 or 2 rad beams. And now when I see the other 2-cost event, I'm like, okay, wait, maybe there's not a rad beam here. So here I have I think a lot this turn because I have a lot of options. Either I can do the safe play to play Dereshi and try to find like so I can block her up, but I was thinking, okay, that play loses to Hody, and he's seen quite a few cards in the deck, and I think they're on like 4 Hodys, so I was like consider, okay, I died to Hody, but I survive if there's no Hody, but I need to hit with the Dereshi, and if I don't hit good with the Dereshi, I lose on the spot there too. So I'm considering, okay, how do I want to swing? I think I am going to settle with a 14k swing on the kid, leaving because I know one card in hand is Carrot, which means that there can potentially only be 2 2ks, and I knew from before. So you have to work with info, guys. So I knew from before that he pitched a 2k and 3 1k. So that means that there's probably not more 2ks in the hand if he didn't draw one. And I think he maybe drew the event because he played it so late. So that means working with info, there should not be that many 2ks in hand. So if I hit a 14 here, that means that with event he goes up to a 13 on the, like, because he decreases mine to 12 and the kid becomes 11, and that means that there needs to be a 2k in hand, but I know one Carrot, so there needs to be 2 cards that should be 2ks, but he threw 3 1ks before, which means that the swing is much more safe to do because he has to top deck a 2k, and I think he top decked the event. So that means that it will command at least 3 cards in hand, and if then the last card is a brick, I can just go a 8 with the snake and then go for like 5 5 6. So I think like it's a winning line here by the swings, but I'm going to think a lot here because there's still this defensive option, but I am a little bit scared of Hody Jones. Yes, when counted it on here, and I am going to, as I said, swing a. Yeah, I am going to swing a. Wait, is it 14 even? It's 8. Yeah, it's a 14 even, so that commands actually even more. No, wait, it becomes 11 and that becomes 12. Yeah, no, right. It has to be like a 2k and the event. And as I know, I worked with the info from before that there was no 2ks, probably no 2ks in hand, which means that it's either like event 2 cards, and then I just pray that the last card is a brick, or he might be even bluffing for this. But if it's the Rad Beam and the Igloo here, then I am also going to lose because just Rad Beam event protects it, and then I know the Carrot, and then do. But then I could be in a position where I heal and then pass, but I know I would lose then because I would heal. I think it was maybe a Shaka, but he has 1 2 3 4 swings. I only have 1 life, 1 blocker, and 3 cards in hand, so I lose from that spot. My opponent is going to let the kid go, and from here I'm like, okay, wait. So he could still bait me to like try to use all my Don to swing, and then he could like do a cheeky decrease on 2 bodies, and then I lose from there. So I'm thinking what I want to do, but I think I'm settling to swinging a 8 with the Sanji here, because that means that if he's going to use the event, he needs to either decrease the Sanji or decrease another body and pitch a 1k to the swing. So it commands 2 cards or like the whole effect of the card. That means that I can swing a 5, and a 6 into 3 cards. And as I said before, I don't think there's any 2ks in hand, so that's a favorable swing. The reason I'm also thinking a little bit here is because I'm considering if I can do this defensive option where I heal, leave the Sunny up, and then I have like 3 hits. But then if he decides to put on the Virgo, I would probably lose there because I didn't have that much counter in hand. So I'm starting to go 6 here with Atlas to try to get the card, and he has a 2k in hand. Wait, am I doing the math wrong now? 14. I think he could have protected hidden if I'm not mistaken. It is 2, it's 13, 14, 2k, then I swing a6. Okay, yeah, so I think my opponent could have. No, never mind. My opponent doesn't have the event in hand, that's why he did not protect. But he could have done it with the 2k, so I don't know the 2k. I'm going to swing a 8 here on lead, because if he events now, he has to do the whole event on this, or like event minus 1k, and then I have the 1 swing left. I was a little bit scared at this point, but I am going to take home the last game, the first game, sorry. And as I said, this is a best of 3. So we are going to shuffle up again and get into the game. I'm just going to fast forward because I know both of us mulligan this game. Okay, so I'm going to start again this game, and I'm still like uncertain what I want to go in this matchup because I haven't played it super much, but statistically you want to go first, but I think I would take second because I think Punk's curve is better going second. So I am going to find, okay, my hand this game was crazy. I had Atlas, I think I had like Chaka, I had Lilith, I had like, my hand was really good. I think I had Nami too in the starting hand, so I felt really good about this hand. Or maybe a Luffy too, I don't know. But I'm going to start with Atlas, which is the best play, because that means that when I swing with Atlas, he can't really swing into it because it will be protected. So that means that he either has to go face or he has not swing, and I don't think he wants to go face here, so Atlas is the best play on 1 for Vegapunk. So he's going to take the Don, and I think he has passes because he doesn't have a thing here. Yeah, and going to pass, then it's my turn. So I'm going to go a 7 here with the Atlas. My opponent is going to take, maybe the small arguments I should have swung a 6 as I told before. I rather want him to use the cards in hand than taking the life. So, but I felt like I wanted to like pressure him down as fast as possible because it worked the first game. But maybe in hindsight, it's I could have done it a little bit better. So my opponent is going to go 3 for a Sanji here, and going to stand 2 Don because you put 1 Don under it, so it becomes a 7k. And here he's going to think what he decides to do. Going to play something. We will see. Hopefully it's a pass. But could be like Virgo, could be a Rosie. Yeah, and my camera is I don't know why, because this is a new camera. It's a better camera than my last one, and it's still like a little bit blurry when I play with webcam. I haven't played that much webcam, but it's a little bit blurry. You can like see the stat line of the cards, but you can like clearly see them at least, which is probably like the point. But I don't know if there's a setting I should change, or because my other cam was better for webcam play, but worse with everything else. So I'm going to go a 6 here, as I said. I want to like try to burn as many cards from my opponent's hand as possible. And if I get a take here, then I am going to swing a 7 with the Atlas, because then the pressure game plans work. Because this turn, as I said, I had the Lilith and I had the Nami, so I am going to play the Lilith here to get the search. And I was thinking if I wanted to Nami or not. The argument for keeping Nami is that I can use it on... okay, I'm actually going to swing a 60. Yeah, because my opponent for a 2k, I want to go another 6 to command another 2k from hand. Because I rather him discard it than taking the life. So I am actually going to use the Nami on the Sunny, because I was thinking, because I know if my opponent takes this, yeah, then I decided to do it, because then he can swing into the Atlas and then swing it leader into the Shaka, which commands more cards from my hand. So I'm actually going to use the Nami to pop the Sanji here, even though it can be used for Smoker later. And I'm going to use it over the Luffy because I want to stick a body on board, and that means that only the leader can swing into my bodies. That means I don't have to like waste 2 resources or one of my body will stay. So Nami is actually really valuable. So I'm going to pick up my one-off S-Snake here again, the goat, which is really nice. So I am actually, I think I am going to S-Snake here instead of the, yeah, I am going to S-Snake here. Instead of Naming it, I remember now. And it was a little bit funny because my opponent like mixed up Lilith and S-Snake's name, so he called it the Lilith the S-Snake. So we had to clarify it a bit, but yeah, there's like a lot of names. Yes, I'm going to S-Snake here instead, which is better than Nami, so I think I kept the Nami in hand. So S-Snake here, freezing the sun is really good, because that means that I get to keep the what is it called, the Nami in hand, depending on what happens this turn, because it could pop the Smoker. Because I had Luffy and Nami in this hand, which means that if my opponent decides to play like the Tashigi Smoker, I can Luffy Nami it, and then I can swing with everything else, and then my opponent loses 2 cards. I keep the pressure up. My opponent goes to 8 on next turn, so if he decides to do kid, then there's less cards in hand, and a 2k lower than that. I feel like the position here actually is good for me, especially with finding the S-Snake. My opponent is going to use 4 Don here. Wait, 4 Don here for a mole gun on the. He said Lilith, but I clarified with him like, okay, it's probably should be the S-Snake, right? And he said, yeah, it's the S-Snake. I just mixed up the names again. So yeah, get your names right, guys. Okay, so he's going to stand 3 Don now. Oh, stand 2 Don with leader. So I'm like, okay, what happens now? And he is swinging an 8 here on one of the bodies. So here I'm considering if I want to do event or not, because I think I have the event in hand. Or at least I'm going to take a little extra time to signal to my opponent that I have it, if I don't have it, to like... You have to work with the info, as you know. And I'm going to let the Shaka go, and I actually instantly regret this one, because I should probably just use the event to protect it, because like keeping bodies now on board is really good, and I like the event, like most likely it's not a game where the event in life will do that much, because my opponent can like pressure me with smokers later on if I gas out. So I should just event there and protect the Shaka, so I get an additional thing to pressure my opponent with. So I was kind of regretting it, but in this position here, I think I have... I don't exactly remember what I have in hand, but I know I have the 8 cost kid. I have... I don't remember. I think I have the Vegapunk blocker. I think I have Nami, Luffy, and maybe a Dereshi or something like that. So in this position here, I just wanted to like keep the floods going and keep swinging like 6s on my opponent to burn the 2Ks. Command pressure, or maybe I even swing like a 5k. We'll see. I'm thinking a little bit here, and I am going to just use leader effect to play the Nami, pitch the punk blocker, pop the Sanji. I am going to draw one. The reason I did this before swinging is because I get to see an additional card by the Nami effect. So that means that I get more info to work with how I want to set up my swings. So if I would swing before, maybe like I want to use my Don different when I get the info of the additional card. Even though this gives a little bit more info to my opponent, I still think it's good. And he gets the Sunny draw, I guess, which gives him another card to defend with. But I think me seeing another option is better than swinging before the draw. So he's going to pitch a 1k to the 5k swing, and then I'm going a 6 with the Atlas here. As I said, I just want to keep pressuring my opponent's hand rather than like investing it on the swing. Because I'm expecting a Eustace maybe coming down next turn. My opponent here is thinking, and he's going to take the life. Oh, and I'm going to play the Sanji, and then pitch the Rayquaza, and then I am going to pass with 1 Don open with 4 cards in hand. I don't think I have Rayquaza yet, and then I grab the dice to like clarify the hand size, so it's easier for my like opponent and for the viewers to see how many cards I have in the hand. I have a 2 life, 4 cards in hand, and this board. So here I am expecting the kid to come down, and the kid is coming down. Putting 1 Don under leader and swinging a 6. I think it was into the Lilith. And as like I see kid on board, the Lilith doesn't do that much, so I rather keep the cards in hand, because I am probably not going to swing with it. Because I am going to try to pressure the kid there. And the kid is going to play the Rosie and then pass. And I'm going to use 1 Don for the Luffy. And I'm going to pop the Rosie here to get a draw. Really nice to find. This deck is really consistent though, because I play like Nami draws, Sunny draws, the Rocket Luffy draws. I play 4 Derishi, 4 Lilith. So there's a lot of consistency in this deck. And then I am going to use the rest of my Don, that should be 8, and swing a 14 into the kid. So in this spot I demand 3 2Ks and a 1K if my opponent wants to defend, and that's kind of nice, because then I can keep pressuring next turn, so I'm most likely going to get the hit here. Yeah, so he's going to let the kid go, and then I'm going to swing a 5 with the Nami. I don't get any info from the kid going, because like, I think it's griefing to pitch 4 cards to that swing, because that means only 3 cards are left in hand. So I go to 5 with the Nami here. And my opponent, I don't think he has another kid in hand, because if he has, then he probably should like defend this, take the Sanji hit, then put up the kid to see one additional card, because once that kid dies, the game is probably over. So I'm going to swing a 6 with the Sanji, and my opponent is going to defend with a 2k, and then I pass. My opponent is thinking here again what he wants to do, and he's going to play the carrot and freeze the Sanji. I was so how do you say, damaged by playing Teach. I was thinking that okay, so it like it can't swing, so I was going to put it how do you say it, like the other way around, but then I realized like, oh, right, it's a freeze, so it just won't stand, so there's no point in me doing this. My opponent is going to play the Luffy here, and I think swings a 7 into the Nami. And then my opponent is going to stand 2 Don with leader, I think. Yeah, and then he is going to swing a 6 into the Atlas, and I'm going to give a Luffy 1k. I was thinking a little bit here about maybe letting the Atlas go, because like the Luffy is good in hand, but no, I want to pitch the Luffy. And now my opponent is going to use the Virgo here, and my opponent is going to miss. Okay, so no, okay, I'm sorry for that, but the guys told me to do it. So yeah, he's going to miss. I guess like this is one of the decks where your top 5 searches can miss, because you play the Luffy, you play the Carrot, you play Hody, you play Kid, you play what more do you play? Maybe Rad Beams. I mean, there's a lot of hits, but there's also some ways to miss here. The opponent is going to pass here, and here I have to take a little bit of time thinking like, what do I want to do? And I think I have the blocker in hand and some other things. So what I did a misplay this turn. What I should have done is I should have went 1 Don to play the Vega blocker, get the card, and then keep playing from there. Because my opponent has 3 bodies on board. But I'm going to swing a 10 first on the Luffy. Because I was like, yeah, like it's a little bit fundamentals to swing before doing the plays, to not show your opponent, like give them info. So I just like brain farted here, and yeah, I should have done that first. So now I'm going to discard a card. But I played the Sanji after this, drew to discard 1, and then I played the Vegapunk. And the casters thought I top decked the Vegapunk. So if I wouldn't say anything here, yeah, then I would not look as bad. But yeah, I did a misplay here and lost another card in hand because I swung. And I realized it when I did it. But now I get to draw 2. I guess you could work with info like playing the Sanji, seeing the cards before playing the blocker 2, because I could have found something else. But I think swinging a 10 into the Luffy here was the best line to do. And then I am going to do 1 Don to play the blocker Punk here. Look at top 5 and picking a scientist card to play. So in this spot I should have had another card in hand, sadly. But I am using it, finding a Shaka, and I am going to discard a Atlas here, because Atlas is essentially like a 5-6 vanilla, most likely going to be used as a counter. So I lose 1k counter by doing this misplay here. So if other one reviews this and looks at this game, tell them that I played the Sanji and drew into the Vegapunk. My opponent is going to swing a 6 here with the Carrot. I think on the Atlas freezing the Sanji, or maybe it was the other way around, and I'm going just to give him the Vegapunk blocker. Because I like just to block with it, because now he has to commit more resources to the swinging, and I don't really care about that blocker as for now, because it could also been like a Hody coming out, right, and then he could have swung with Virgo on the but I win to Hody. I'm going to play another Kid here. This is the Kid Showdown. I'm going to stand 3 Don, and then going to swing a 6 here on the Atlas. I'm going to let it go because I don't want to waste the resource. Because I had another Luffy in hand, the Rocket Luffy. I was thinking, okay, is it a Rosy come down or not? Yeah, I should probably just leave it in hand and let Atlas go to keep it up. So I'm going to start with the Rocket Luffy, draw one card, and the Rose is going to go. So here I actually think I did like, this is probably one of the better plays in this video. So I'm seeing 2 cards in hand, 2 Don up, so I am expecting the event. So here I have 9 Don left. So what I can do is I can decide to use 7 of the Dons to swing a 13 with the Shaka or Sanji on the kid, which means that if he has the event, he has to do the event and pitch another card, which means that I can just put 2 Don under the Sanji and then swing into the kid to get it. So I'm going to think a little bit here, because it's like not as tough as before, but yeah, I'm going to swing the 13 here, because that means either 2 cards or the kid will go. And I will see what my opponent will do here. I think my opponent will use the event and yeah, the 2k to defend the kid, and I'm really happy with that, because that means I can just do 2 Don under the kid and swing it. I was thinking here about healing, but I was like, nah, I probably can do it, because I think I have like Tereshi, 8-cost kid, and like another brick, like a Rayquaza in hand. So I have 3 bricks in hand, so if my opponent decided to like start swinging face here, it could be potentially be lethal, depending on what is my triggers. So my opponent is going to put 2 Don under the carrot and then swing on one of my bodies, and here I am like, okay, nice, I am not dead. So the Sanji will go and the other Sanji will be frozen. So here my opponent will play the... He's playing the Beckman from the top, popping the standing Shaka. So here I know I have 8-cost kid in hand, so I know that the only thing I need to do is protect the body that can swing, play the 8-cost kid, and then swing on leader here. So here I realized that I probably won the game. He's going to stand the 3 Don and then just pass. I am going to draw, play the 8-cost kid. I had to proxy it because I forgot to pick it up on locals, but it's allowed in this tournament because it's like a webcam league, and I like clarified it is the 8-cost kid from before, and I even wrote it down on the paper. So I am going to burn the top of my opponent's life here, and then I am going to swing a 8k for the game. So this was it for this video, guys. Thank you a lot for watching me yap here. I'm really like excited to play in this league, and I'm going to try to, of course, take the trophy, the #1 place. So it's going to be once a week, a best of 3, and I'm planning to do videos like this and talk a little bit about the place. Tell me if you maybe want to see like I review other games and talk about it. I don't know how much you like my voice doing these things, but I'm really excited for this, and I'm going to upload once a week, me reviewing the games and talking a little bit about it. With that said, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, use the affiliate link down below, and yeah, see you in the next one.